Oh man, the rivals are truly rising here. I don't know why the stuff is off center here, by the way. I've noticed it and it's bothering me a little bit, but there's a distinct angle gap here and I don't know why. We have two decks potentially here for the Rising Rivals set, and honestly, I don't know what I exactly want to do because I feel like with what I have seen, there's going to be one reasonable matchup and one terrible matchup for the Reggie at the top here. Flygon probably just runs the table, but that's not necessarily what we're here for. But Flygon was, I guess, more relevant as a deck in the past. But I think we're going to go with a Regigigadoof because it's funny. I think this deck also just gets better over time, which the Flygon deck maybe doesn't, but we're probably gonna... maybe we'll just see both. I don't know. It depends how many games we play. So, Regigigas is a deck that we haven't seen in the end of week things yet. We have seen once in midweek when it came out. The actual Regigigas itself is massive behemoth of a tank here. 150 HP is absolutely ginormous. And it's got a pretty strong attack in Giga Blaster that's difficult to set up, but we can get there for sure. 1 metal, 1 water, 1 fighting, and a colorless does 100. It's a little bit underwhelming for the cost, to be honest, just how complicated that is to do, but it's really not difficult to set it up in this deck because of Sableye and the Roseanne. You do 100 damage, you can't use it in consecutive turns, but you discard the top card of the opponent's deck and also a card from their hand without looking as well, which is really, really good. Regigigas also has Sacrifice that you can choose to KO one of your own Pokemon, does give the opponent a prize for doing so, and then attach up to 2 basic energy from your discard pile to the Gigas and heal 8 damage counters as well. So it isn't the most difficult thing to set up another Gigas if you have to, so you're trying to just like tank, I suppose, with this and do big damage and go from there. We have 2 Regigigas that we level up from. They both have decent effects in their own right. The one copy of Regigigas that we play here has got a better like main attack, I suppose. Gigaton Punch for 3 colorless does 60. If you flip heads, it's 80 and 20 Snipe, which is pretty good. Also, when you attach an energy to the Regigigas from the hand, you just full heal all special conditions, which is good because you can't sacrifice if you have a special condition on you. So if you get poisoned or something, you've got to recover mechanism first or switch out, neither of which are particularly easy to do. The much more disruptive one, however, is the Promo Gigas here. For 3 colorless energy, it only does 30 damage, which is pretty miserable, but you can choose to switch in one of the opponent's bench Pokemon and do 30 to that instead, which is really nasty actually. Lets you do a lot of disruptive plays and just keep the opponent off of what they actually want to hit with. And then Giga Hammer for 4 colorless does 80, but you can't use Giga Hammer in consecutive turns. That's fine because you alternate between that and Giga Blaster, and you're effectively doing 180 between 2 separate turns, which is really, really strong. To actually facilitate this thing, we do start with Sableye as much as we can. If we do have this in the opening as our, starting Pokemon, we are forced to go first, but that's good because Impersonate for 0 energy discards a supporter from your deck and uses the effect of that as the attack. And that's what we use it for in this deck. We use it for Roseanne on the early game, we can get the energies and stuff we need. We have Felicity as our main draw card in here. The Gyarados decks did something very similar by using it to get Magikarps and stuff, but Felicity here is discarding energy mostly, so we can use that with Sacrifice and just get acceleration from the discard. And yeah, it's just set up as quick as possible with that. We have ourselves Mesprit as the other main thing. This is mostly what we're sacrificing if we can get away with it. When you bench the Mesprit, the opponent can't play Poképowers in their next turn whatsoever, so this buys you a turn most of the time to try and get yourself set up whilst the opponent is lounging around not being able to do a whole lot. Speaking on setup, we do need an Azelf in here because we need to have the Regigigas level X out of the prizes. If it lands there, 3-1 is the better ratio for it in the end. You really do want to get this down as quick as possible, but if your Gigas gets prized, you have to have a way of getting out, so that's why it's there. Obviously 2 Yuxi is draw here as well, but we do have a bunch of draw otherwise. We've got 2 Lookers in here as well to try and do draw stuff, so we don't need Clay Doll or anything in here, but this is still really good. And playing Yuxi and Mesprit allows us to play the Downer material as Elf, which I think is going to be kind of insane. At least against a Luxape it's going to be really good. Dialga we'll have to see because it does shut this off, but if you've got a Yuxi and a Mesprit in play, the opponent's basics take 1 more energy to attack, which is devastating to be honest. So really solid there. The other card that brings this together is the Giratina. Normally this massive retreat cost on this thing is a bit of a liability, but you can sacrifice it once, even if it's in the active slot, once you've got the Gigas level X down. And Let Loose is insane. Forcing both players to shuffle draw up to 4 cards from their deck is just crazy strong. And yeah, combine that with Mesprit and Giga Hammer discarding a card out of hand as well, you're really dampening what the opponent can do. So strong combos all around. For that little bit of extra damage, we do have the Crobat in here plus the Poketurns. 110 is a bit of a benchmark to try and hit. Stuff like the Infernape and Luxray level X's both have 110, Beedrill is at 110, so you do kind of need a little bit of extra ping here and there, so that is what that is for. Otherwise, the only other card that's noteworthy in here is Poke Healer. You don't see this in most decks, but I think it's going to be a little bit too important not to have in this one. It's either that or Super Scoop Up, and I think I would just prefer to not coin flip for it. You get to play 2 of these at the same time, and if you do so, you heal 8 damage counters and all special conditions from one of your active Pokemon, which is effectively the same thing as using Sacrifice without giving up prizes. So it gives you an extra turn with your Gigas, it also gets rid of paralysis and stuff like that. You can use one of these to heal 1 special condition and 1 damage counter, so if you do get paralyzed you can still use this to single heal and then sacrifice to get the bigger heal anyway. And you're just banking on the fact that the opponent can't do 150 damage, which to be fair is like basically every deck except this one. The Flygon list down here would be a pretty hard counter to it, but I don't think... this is not the primary deck I want to play this week, I don't think. So, Flygon as a card, it gives all of your guys that have the same... that are the same type as a basic energy on the Flygon, it gives them all 0 retreat, which matches Flygon itself, so a very mobile deck to go around with. And then it's got a couple of good attacks, like Sandwall. If the opponent's playing Stadium cards, you can make yourself immune for a turn, which is good. Power Swing is the same sort of thing as the... I forget exactly what the tab was called, Power Lariat I think it might have been called, from Nidoqueen back in Fire Red Leaf Green, where you do more damage for every evolved Pokemon on the bench. So if you can get a bunch of like the Flygons, there's Nidoqueen to heal between turns as well, and Machamp of course is a very strong card to go with here as well. If you can get a bunch of these down, then you can do lots and lots of damage with the Flygon. But also, thanks to Memory Berry being in here, we get to use the attacks of our lower stages too, which includes Sand Tomb from Trapinch to prevent the opponent from retreating, and Energy Typhoon as a finishing blow from Vibrava over here to do 20 damage for every energy in the opponent's discard pile, which is kind of neat. This all culminates into Flygon level X as well, whose extreme attack can do 150 damage to one of the opponent's level X's in play, so effectively one-shotting just about every level X you can, so that's really good. There's only 2, I think, 2 or 3 that don't get KO'd by this in one hit, so that's neat. But also, Sand Tomb becomes important to use with this guy because Wind Erosion discards the top card of the opponent's deck in between turns. So if you can stick something in the active that really doesn't want to be there, you can force them to just keep milling, and you can actually deck them out with that. Very funny. Otherwise, the only card of note in here that we haven't seen from the Flygon, from the Veggie deck is Luxray. This, when you level up this from in the active slot, you get to just gust the opponent. So almost every deck is going to play that. The only reason I don't play it in here is because we don't generally have it in the active. I guess we could Warp Point for it and such, but it's a little bit awkward to play in here. I'd rather just go with the Reggie stuff. I think deck space is a bit too tight, and I want the damage pings anyway. We've got Drag Off that we can use to force things active regardless, so we don't really need Luxray in there, but in here, definitely do. Yeah, That's pretty much it. There's not really anything too fancy in here. I mean, I guess there's chat art that we haven't seen otherwise. Mimic shuffle draws your hand for no energy. Matches the opponent's hand size. That's kind of cool. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah, let's fire it up. Let's see how it's going to do. I think it's going to be relatively bad into the Dialga, but it should be pretty good into the Luxape. So I suppose we will just see if that is the case. Let's bring myself into proper viewing here. I bring this back up to undeafen. Alright.
Cyrus's conspiracy.
Well, in advance, Cal, I'm a bit slow at the moment because I'm still getting used to SP decks.
Honestly, you know, it's okay. You didn't. I don't know if you saw the like 15-minute turn I was trying to do, working out how the bloody hell I was supposed to deal with the Beedrill thing yesterday. But I was like, is there any way that I can keep up in the prize trade with it here? It's like, I think I must have been thinking on that turn literally for about 15 minutes. It was kind of insane. In the end, I came up with... Oh, sorry. No, it's okay. I was like, in the end, I came up with a pretty good play, and then it was immediately shut down by Luxray Poketurn on the next turn. I was just like, oh. You know. Just like, wow, crap.
Poketurn. Can I chomp your active?
No, you may not.
As they say, Nina Nina. Yeah, so I will admit, this wasn't exactly what I was expecting to see this week off of things, but I guess you're probably saving it for next round, for next week's one with the full format.
Yeah, I'm saving the big, crazy stuff for the Worlds format week.
That's
I want to
fair.
mess around with some jankier stuff for the...
May I Cosmic Power?
You may. No.
May I chomp?
You may.
Active.
Womp womp.
Do I have to discard this as well?
No.
No, it's a tool, not an energy.
Oh.
And so discard 2 anyway.
That was what...
Just making sure.
Okay, yeah, there's one weird thing. I know this, don't mind me on this stuff here. I want to just make sure. Yeah, this wasn't working for me earlier on when I think I must have, like, when I was resetting bench and stuff, that bit just stopped working for whatever reason. I was like, that's weird. So I just wanted to check at the moment whilst I was thinking about it. I did have the thing open for a while and I had played quite a few games on that board, so maybe it was something that had just gone a bit weird, but...
Trying to figure out how to pull back from this mess.
This deck is very scary, that's for sure.
He's not like doing much either. Probably have to do a healing Poketurn here.
I will admit, the second you showed that deck, I was like, urge to play Flygon intensifying, you know? It's like...
I put 3 Warp Point in there for several reasons. That was one of them.
It's not even that necessarily. It's the fact of Extreme Attack says no to your metal energies. I would have been using it aggressively.
You would need a lot of metal energy to save you from Rayquaza as well.
Right, that 150 is the sort of benchmark that's like, oh shit, you know?
And I'm not in a position where it's unreasonable to get to it.
Okay. What's your option if I do that then?
Besides, I'll level with you in a moment anyway, Pepper. Just the sheer act of having Dialga G level X in play stops Wind Erosion from doing its thing, so... that's already a relatively good check versus the guy.
Move my damage around. Turn.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that was happening with me earlier as well. The actual well still did the thing, but the clicking the energy stuff didn't work, which was so.
As elf. My notes out. Let me get.
I kind of like our.
Already as elf this game.
No, I searched for as elf.
Oh.
I kind of like our quote-unquote solution with this stuff of rather than necessarily having... You can write the notes down and stuff, it's probably just as well. But I kind of like the idea, instead of having to do that, of just, you know, being able to basically do what you're doing at the moment every time again, because it's like, we already know where they are, right?
Just do that, saves time.
That's what I feel is the easiest, is the better solution here, to be honest.
Searching a Baltoy.
Makes sense.
Like, obviously, historically, you would have to write the stuff down and be timely about it as well, so you don't get slow played on. But I think, given that this is already inherently a slower system anyway, any sort of advantage we can have on it to keep things going at a good pace is better. Because otherwise I'm just going to open paint.net up and I'm going to copy a screenshot every time, right? And it's fine, but that's just another window I have to have open up.
Metal on the Lux Ray. What the hell am I doing? What the...
That is the question we ask ourselves every day.
Cyrus.
I will say the inclusion of SP radar into the format does complicate Cyrus's a little bit, because it's now there's like another thing to both consider and also like find deck space for. Especially because you want a lot of it too.
Arons and spray. More damage movement. Poison Revenge knockout.
Don't even have a stadium in play. How busted. Back in my day of literally last set,
SP radar?
you do have to put a card in your deck as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at which one I want to put.
I can't spray that, so...
That would make it an SPRA radar. Spraydar, if you will. Oh.
Cyrus's Conspiracy.
Yeah, the fact if you can get the level X's off of the radar as well is so nice.
I may, but I don't know if I want to.
Yeah, it's that awkward spot, isn't it? It's just gonna kill you right back if you do, huh?
I will flash impact for the KO.
Okay.
I am assuming we are just not flipping for Rayquaza this turn.
I probably shouldn't I?
It would make sense, but...
I was playing with the assumption that Ray was probably coming in soon.
I mean, there is also the fact I didn't know if it would get sprayed or not, so...
Well, I
would
mean...
it be...
That's...
If we can run it back.
You may do it.
It would be the last action before doing the attack anyway. Yeah, it's fair.
That's it.
It happens.
Much better things to spray than that in this situation.
Probably, yeah.
Like this thing.
Which didn't even do the effect, so...
I was like, okay. For spray. Wait, for spray. Oh, I don't have to spray. Yay.
I mean, it makes sense, because if he gusted, like, you could gust and KO the Baltoy or something, and that'd be great, but then you immediately kill him straight back, because
Exactly.
you just do 120 because a guy died by damage last turn, so it's a trade that I can understand not necessarily being even. Especially if, God forbid, you actually flip heads on Leap Away or something and can get it back in as well, like heal it off too.
Yep. You need me to extend. Just take use of it.
I do wish Trash Ball was just very slightly better though. The fact that it has to discard an energy specifically is really annoying.
I think that's actually worth eliminating this matchup. Aaron's collection.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a particularly straightforward board position to have, so...
The battle shall be legendary. Now let's see what this frag
God, I hate this. Look, I'm sorry. Can we just not block sway because it doesn't use its other attacks anyway?
Good point, no.
I'm sorry, it just looks so bad. I know I'm being a shitter, but it just looks so bad for it. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't used Bite as well, but this is not the time for that.
Can I bright look?
You can.
Attach lightning. Bench Dialga. You should still be out.
Yeah. That's okay, I'd have told you off if you tried to use the second one.
And Bite KOs.
Yeah, it does. Bite do be KOing, yes. Pel's just like, it's not a bad attack, I promise. Yeah, it's passable enough.
Roseanne's.
Yes, you may, G. Yes, you...
Yeah, that is something that you would need to ask because it's a once per turn on it as many times as you want, as we found out last time when I sprayed the Q or whatever, which was very funny.
May I Claydol?
You may.
Dinner?
That was on the look tree, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
bounced out for an accidental click. You may oopsie.
You? Maintenance?
You may night maintenance.
You don't get a choice.
You don't know, we could have pollen spray.
That would be very funny.
I don't know which Ghost Girl blocks his kind of effect when I play it.
Ghost Bell, obviously.
Right.
Right, it's a card that interacts with the graveyard, so...
Yeah, right. I don't know all the like on Yu-Gi-Oh stuff.
No, I'm pretty sure Ghost Bell prevents stuff that, like, shifts from graveyard to deck.
Trash Bolt?
Alright.
2070 on SP, which I can just throw whatever I want later.
It's a bit more awkward to throw, but yes.
Once again, forgetting Rayquaza, but accepted game state this time.
No, I'm fine with it.
Special metal on that.
Yeah. Nah, it's funny because I was looking at it going, I know there's still an energy in there that you could have done it with.
But I might not necessarily want on the Rayquaza just yet.
That's what Stark Mountain is for. Because it was a fire, so...
Oh, I thought it had to be
It's not from...
fire from...
Yeah,
to fire.
it's not from fire/fighting to fire/fighting. It's from one of your Pokemon to a fire/fighting.
Fair enough.
So you could even put it on the Claydol if you wanted to, and store it
You
there
are
for
allowed
later.
to do that if you want.
Let me just...
I will not stop you from Claydol.
A man must not be denied their dolls.
I mean, he hasn't done it to me, which
How
is
much?
rude. At this point, it would be rude to take his Claydol.
Move my damage around.
This where surprise Haunch Crow. Would be very funny.
It sure would.
You know, if it was me, I probably would as well. That's the thing.
Flash impact. Act for 60. No.
May I Rayquaza?
I'll get that and discard in a sec.
Check this card.
There's one.
Just two, isn't there?
2, yeah.
Oh, two fine.
Yeah, you discarded one for Trash Bolt, so...
Is that a yes or a no?
That's a still thinking for a second. Oh. Yes.
Okay, and again. Flippin' till tails. Yep, because you got to take the other one as well. Well, that's a bit spooks.
May I Claydol?
You may.
Can't do it, so just flash impact for the 60.
Okay. But you'll need to see. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'll this one first. Special metal on the Dialga.
Alright.
Oh, that's two of them on there now, isn't it? They are significantly shinier than the other energy. Uh-oh.
May I Claydol?
Of course.
My good sir, I would never deny you of your doll.
Simply rude.
Well, I was playing the Dart type version of this last week, so I was just supposed to be rude the whole way through.
Bump Stadium.
Ah, I see the problem here. I just thought I'd take a look as well and going, ah yes, there's nothing for you to flip for.
Well, sir, that is a problem.
Losing my damage. Takes me out. That trash ball range. Takes me out. Trash bolt range.
I think you need another attachment for a trash bolt.
No, putting myself out of your trash bolt range.
Ah,
Well, specifically bat plus trash bolt. Teach you shenanigans something. Because I will just be doing a flash impact. Taking my KO.
Here he comes to save the day.
Roseanne's. Premier Ball? Wait, no, that's not the right info name. Hang on. That one is. Bump your stadium.
Tried.
Energy gain. Alright, let's go for it. Ah.
Mistakes were made.
No, there was no mistake. I don't have any more lightning in the deck.
No, there was one mistake. We'll get to it though.
The mistake was that you forgot to ask. Oh well. I still
Well,
became straight.
no, that wasn't actually the mistake either. But yeah, it was at least a request could have been made for it. But yeah, no, well, that's not the mistake.
Split Bomb, Dialga, and Alakazam.
Okay, I'm not trying to backseat too much. I would not split bomb Dialga. It's not going to take any damage, right?
Oh well.
Yeah, two metals.
Like, I swear I'm really not trying to, like,
Yuxi.
pry in too much, but I can't allow that. I'm sorry.
I need to find So I hope I don't find the game. Game turn. Okay. Yeah, the turn before I game. Hopefully I'll go. And I just watch this most likely, yes. Special metal on Dialga.
God.
May I, Claydol?
Again, I haven't stopped you yet.
But it starts now.
I out this card, they're just being stubborn assholes. Okay.
Oh good, you and me both.
Can I safely move damage here? KO. Flip bombs. I can. Is a turn Sam moment? And this wasn't it. God, I fucking. Oh. Prohibition to attach, but. Move my damage. Go 70. Roseanne's. Robot Bronzong.
Yep. Yeah, what
Did you
happened
not
there?
say promote the bronze song?
No, I said for Obat and Bronzong for my Roseanne's.
Oh, sorry.
So how would he have done that anyway? There was no effects played, right? unless we're gonna Salamangreat up here and reincarnation level up, and you know maybe then. But
I was distracted by Cad.
Put 60 on it.
May I Rayquaza?
You may.
alright, 4 heads. Let's go. Oh, there's one. I think you've got to flip until tails and then get the energy afterwards, not one at a time. But okay. Alright, good to know I'm on the level with that one.
May I Claydol?
You may.
Actually, wait. No, Claydol first. There's nothing I can really do to hold my hand down if I use that supporter.
That's often how it goes, isn't it?
Retreat.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're free retreat. Yeah.
Yep. 0 retreat on Ape. It's agile boy.
May I trade off?
You may.
It's actually very fitting that this is basically a Pokédex handy, right? Because that's giving you more knowledge, which is exactly what Yuxi does. So, it's actually very fitting that the effect is the same as a card that, traditionally is a knowledge giver.
Right, go ahead.
6 HP. Yeah, good. Still nothing on front. Taking no damage. Yeah, just making more good. Wait, isn't it 3 crowns? Definitely take it. So
Yeah, I've lost.
yeah, I'm just trying to think my best luck. Yeah.
Alright. 3 things I want to bring up overall within this. I'm not, obviously, I can't talk on the macro plays because everything's completely different on it that way and there's going to be different reactions, etc. Right, number 1, there was a missed attempt when you had Luxray with Fire Lightning that was dying next turn. If you were not going to Trash Ball anyway,
I didn't have.
You let me finish. There was that you had Luxray that was 1 hit away with Fire Lightning in the active. You missed a shot to try and use Bronzong to save one of those energy on itself. So you could have potentially, because you flash impacted anyway, you weren't trash balding, so you could have saved the energy from the fire at the very least onto this, and maybe could have moved it later on to like the Ray or something. Number 2, Conductive Quarry is a card that exists. You just immediately attach fire that you got from the Roseanne to the Infernape. What I think should have been done was after you attempt the Ray, and if that fails, you attempt the Quarry before you bounce it, because Quarry gets lightning energy from the discard as well as metal. So you could have done Ray that way instead before using Start Mountain, and then you could have just moved that 3rd fire away and been fine. You're not free from this though, Pepper, because you could have flash impacted your Dialga for no damage. Because Metal Energy does block your own recoil as well. So, you hit the Claydol in one of the later turns, and you could have just flash impacted the Dialga because you got triple special Metal Energy on it.
Right, forgot that was an interaction.
So, whoops. These are hard states. I don't blame.
Yeah, I was at one point regretting not killing my own oopsie.
Like I don't blame anything off of it. Obviously, it's these are hard states to think on, and it's not always apparent doing stuff that way. Especially when a lot of these are like the sort of once per turn sort of effects on it too. But yeah. That's the main bit I was looking. The main bits I saw going through there. Just the simple things that wouldn't have necessarily always changed the way. I mean, the Rayquaza one probably would have a bit, but not necessarily changing the way that every turn was played. So it doesn't change the macro game, but little advantages that could have been picked up there. A little bit of extra damage thing off of it here and there.
I will say that if you had asked about the Rayquaza, I was going to spray that.
And how rude of you! I didn't spray you once.
Do you even run spray?
1.
I do.
Oh. Okay.
I do in fact run a spray.
Yeah, because I was carrying a spray for that whole late game, just waiting for a key target. Then, like maybe it was best to try and stop the draws, but I thought but in late game, you're going to have access to your stuff long term anyway. So stopping like a key bright look sounded more important, or a Rayquaza fish, or basically anything.
Yeah,
That would
Pell,
have materially affected board.
Pell was asking me in the chat if you'd actually burned it as well, Sai. So I was looking through the graveyard. I didn't say anything at the time, but I was just looking. You're looking through the discard, going.
I just
Nope.
didn't have it.
Yeah, I saw like three Poke turns were used though, so that was the bit
Yeah,
I was
using
looking
my
for.
turns.
That's the bit I was looking at, going, uh oh, you know, because that. Oh, so I mean, it wasn't that sort of far out, right? Definitely pretty close in the end with that. Right. Okay. Well, that was one game. we have more to accomplish here.
We sure do.
All right. Let's see how bad this ends up being. I don't think this is. I actually have no idea, but I'm not sure if this is going to end up being remotely favorable on my own end, but we will just have to find out. Yep, that would help. Right, I'm going to save you the trouble. Right, we will draw. We will unknown to Q to the Sableye here, and we will impersonate.
Identity theft is a crime.
Yeah, you could say that.
I mean, it got sent to jail at some point in the future.
It got his entire block sent to jail.
Alright, this is going to give the stuff away because it kind of has to. That's just the nature of these things. We are going to Roseanne, and we will bring out the doof.
Piggy showed
The
up.
Regigigidoof. Let's go.
Well, you need to be kept alive now, Toxic Roquel.
That's alright, I'll kill him later. Go for it.
Dialga.
Yep.
Conspiracy. No,
Yes!
You're not.
The Pokemon tool of
Energy.
conspiracy,
You
yes.
search the energy. Okay, price check.
Okay, so Energy Well's a Distortion Well confirmed then? Because that's where he's entering, right? Like I said though, urge to play Flygon was pretty intense on this one. I think Flygon dumpsters both of these decks, to be honest, but I was nice and I didn't bring it as the initial thing. It's actually a bit more even against the Infernape, I will be honest, but it's still pretty tough for it to win.
My energy. What are these prizes? What the fuck? Okay. Plant Being's turn.
Yep.
Attempt to leap away.
Nope.
Full energy.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
And I will call.
Yep. By the way, I know I only have the Smash Bros. Version of it on the playlist here, but this is the wrong team theme here. This is Plasma, not Galactic. Yep. Seems good. Alright, let's see what we can do. Well, Sir Doofington himself can come down, at the very least. Let's go Luxury. Maybe should have grabbed like 2 energy instead, but because I could have just luxuried for it here, but I could also get another Pokemon that I want now, so you know, kind of helps as well. Mesprit. We will bench and attempt to Mesprit here.
Get stuck in. I'll allow it.
Okay. Let's go ahead and attach the fighting here. We will attempt Yuxi.
C4.
I've got 5, so
I'll allow it.
okay. Roseanne.
You can have that one.
Yeah, I'm glad. Water and Azelf.
Hey Pepper, can I play Mary's Impulse?
No, get him. No, stop being these future cards.
Right.
Whatever. Why did I hit him with these impulse?
We will bench the Azelf, and this one you can't stop because it's a body. And then we will impersonate.
I'll stop it. Just you watch.
Oh yeah, you'll stop it when you get the Dialga out, but you gotta get that out first. Yeah, so we're gonna get Felicity here. So we'll do Felicity, discard 2, draw 4. Go ahead.
Okay. Attempt to leap away.
You cannot.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. Done. Right, Mesprit came up. Right, Mesprit came up. Done.
Mm-hmm. It is indeed, pal. Felicity is a very good card in this deck.
Conspiracy.
Yep. Yep.
Cyrus Spray Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Attach basic metal to Dialga.
Yep.
Coal energy.
Mm-hmm. Seems good.
I thought
Oh.
we banned AMU.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's just a part of it here. All right. Let's get down Reggie 2. So we have fighting there. I have the other two there, so that's good. Let's put metal down. I will Felicity discard Sableye Water to draw 4. Okay. We will impersonate. For babies, put back. You, I think. And grab out Sir Doofington II.
Do you think it makes faces like Pikachu does?
Alright, go ahead.
Okay. So you need energy to do your thing now.
I can do all the things.
Attempt to leap away.
Yep. You got it.
Yet another Cyrus.
Yep.
SSP radar.
Yep.
Lightning. PSP radar.
Yep. Yeah, because you need that to attack this turn. Because that shuts off the Azelf now.
Attach a call. Attach energy gain.
Okay.
Do I just want to definitely Actually, can I take back the call energy?
Sure, sure.
I think last thing I did, so it was
Okay.
probably just be definitely here. Don't want to go back to him yet. Play. I should get this unknown G off the board.
Yeah, so it doesn't get stuck there from Mesprit or something.
Mesprit, yep.
Uh-huh. Also means I can't drag off that Zam now.
As elf.
Yep. Seems good.
Level it. So if you want to get out of the way before any Mesprits come in.
Yep, seems good.
I'm going to deafen.
Sure. Alright, we will draw Looker's Investigation.
Ah.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that's going back in. There's no shot otherwise, but yep, all of that back in. Alright, yeah, let's do it. We'll go in, we'll level X. Okay, I suppose I should no, because I don't want it because he's stinky. It just overlaps too much, it's annoying. I will attempt the sacrifice.
You've not attached this turn yet, have you?
I have not.
Right. It.
Cool. Okay. We will attach. And we'll just drag off and not switch, because it is the drag off one I have here, so we'll just do 30 to the Dialga.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I had to at least force you out of it. You've played a lot of Cyrus at this point, so supporter line is going to be a bit tricky for the rest of the game, so I think that was a reasonable attempt.
Luxury ball.
Yep. That's going to help a lot, though. Mm-hmm.
Play doll.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to help a lot.
Turn this turn. Like, I don't remember I have to. Oh, this would definitely go down it. Dialga.
Yep.
Turn.
Okay. If I force you to use those early, that's a good thing for me.
Sure is. Try foddering for. Try off something else. Metal on Dialga. Energy gain on Dialga. French Dialga. Wait, may I clay it? Oh, no, you're not SP deck.
I'm not an SP deck now. I didn't mess with it, so...
I'll clay it all as I please.
Yep. One thing you won't be doing this turn is attacking, however.
Well, yes, when I promote the fodder as elf, that's...
Yeah, but I'm talking in general, because you've not got the level X in play anymore. So my as elf is back in play. So yeah, I'm not trying to be a smartass with it. It's like genuinely you are not attacking this turn for any reason.
Pass.
Yep. Yeah, down the material sure is a thing. That is for sure. I mean, we've kind of established setup at this point, so it's like, do I even need to do anything else? Probably not. We have basically hit what is needed. Let's put fighting down on this guy, and we'll drag off the attached. Do we want to drag off that one? I'm tempted to drag off the Claydol because it's like, you're not getting that out, but I think I need to deal with this before it becomes too much of a problem, so we will drag it off and do 30 to it. So, yeah, go for it. Yeah, because it's weird. It's like, do I go after the draw thing, or do I? It's just still going to take 2 turns, but it's like, do I go after the draw, or do I go after the guy that's gonna tank 1 hit for me? I think we go after the guy that tanks a hit. Yeah, Giga Hammer will do 80, so if I do choose to use that instead, but I have both options available with 1 more energy.
Yep, just going through my options here.
Yeah.
level there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pel's saying the slow start turns are over, and honestly, that was like 3 turns to get the
What
entire
point?
setup. That's pretty good. Yeah. Okay.
Special metal?
Sure.
Cyrus.
Ah, you got the last one. Alright. Respect. Respect. Yeah, I was patient with that looker too. I waited until you'd used most of the Cyrus, so it's like most of your draws from now are not gonna be as easy. Yep.
Energy gain.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep. Alright. We will draw. I will attempt the sacrifice.
You may.
Okay. We will sack that. You will get your prize. We will
myself, so
take. Yeah, we do have that access to that. We will take our 2 energy. I am well aware of how dangerous Dialga G level X's attack is here, so. Ah, yeah, you've already taken the prize, so I'm just
yeah, I've
thinking
taken my
through.
prize. Yeah,
We will attempt a Crobat.
you may.
Crobat on the active. 0 retreat. Do I need to do anything else is the thing here. Yeah, let's Roseanne. We will grab ourselves Mesprit and Girly Tina. Who will not use Rain Dance at this point in time. But he will complain about his Chesto Berry being gone. And we will Giga Blast it here. So that's whatever. Don't know if you want to shuffle it first or if I'm just gonna rip it. I'd have loved to have played the Tina too, but somebody played Deafen last turn, so you know. Yep, take that, and then top card of deck goes as well. I get my prize.
base.
Yep. Seems good. Yep. Alright, who's coming in? Okay.
60 HP, so...
Yeah, this Flash Impact gets it. It's pretty good. Yep. Yeah, there was no point in keeping Mesprit in play when you have, you know, a body that stops down in material right now anyway, so...
Played all.
Yep.
Unknown G.
Yep. Yeah, it's good to get that on now, so I again can't drag off on it. Limiting that disruption is pretty useful.
I'll take. Well, you're just fodder. I don't care if you. No, I should be smart.
Yeah.
Oh.
Flash on that.
Do you want the base?
Okay, in we go. Alright, let's do what we do. Pokéton. We'll pick up, we'll attempt the Crobat.
Giga Blaster refresh because it went to the bench, right?
It sure did. Yep. Yep,
Right.
You've got to stop it. Let's go Felicity. Discard Gigas and energy here. Draw 4. Okay. It's interesting. Warp point. Sure, seems decent. We will attach water to this one. It's one of my most tempted to do. Nah, let's just do it. We'll Mesprit here.
Okay.
We'll retreat back out and we will Blaster again here. So that, rip top deck, take prize. Yep.
Retreat.
I gotta be honest, I'm not sure if I'm necessarily playing this right. I've played this deck maybe 4 times in total so far, but you know,
Ladle.
you cannot. I Mesprited last turn.
I forget every time.
That's why I caught you quickly.
I was just asking if you've Mesprited. Like,
yeah. That's fair, pal. I have my own thoughts on the way some of it's
Flash
going, but
impact.
okay, yep. So 60, and then you put the 30 down.
Put it on the Zam.
Yep. All right. Let's draw. So this is the interesting bit now. What are we on? 5 in hand. Okay. Yeah, this is where it's intriguing. Yeah, what point? Now what do you do? Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter between that and Sableye. Both of them have got 0 retreat at the moment, but that's fine. We will put a fighting down on this Gigas, I suppose. Guess it's just get energy on it for stuff here. We will retreat out, and we will double Poke Healer to remove the damage. And this has got not enough HP anyway. I'm just thinking whether it's better to hammer or blast. It's probably better to hammer here, to be honest. You've got a decent enough hand size, and I can use blaster next turn. This still gets a knockout. So yeah, we'll just do 80 with the thing here.
Toxic Rope G.
Yep.
Energy. Like
You
energy.
do have the last one. Yep.
That's the problem. That heal is actually very disruptive.
Yep.
I have to put this down because combination of Giga Blaster discards and I ESP to threaten spray.
Mm-hmm.
Play doll.
Yep.
You have Vesperated.
I have not this time now. I would have had to sack for that, and I don't think that was the right play.
See for 2.
Yep.
Flash Impact.
Okay. We will draw. Okay. So it's possible to, but if there's no spray, it's possible to score the KO, but do we want to is the question. It's weird. Because I kind of do, but at the same time. Let's attach to the Gigas on the bench here, because we might as well just get everything down. Looker.
You have an interesting choice.
I do. Cards in deck
Grey and
is
the
15.
6 junk cards. Well, that's at a turn. I guess the bronze one's not junk. I guess the bronze.
So if I remember rightly, you only had 3 and you've played 2. Yeah, go ahead and shuffle that back in. So now it's, do we do it? I mean, if I don't KO you, Toxicroak doesn't do 60 and poison next turn, so you can't realistically kill me at all. I used Hammer last turn, right, to kill the
Yes,
Zam?
use Hammer on
yeah,
the
so
Zam.
I can use Blaster this turn. Seems good. We'll use Giga Blaster here. Top card of deck goes. Just wondered if you wanted to shuffle it first. Take that one. Okay, go for it.
It's actually fairly good here. $160. Cameras removals P-Radar.
Yep.
One's on.
Seems good.
Cover myself, right? Yeah.
You got to it before I did.
Attach special metal onto Dialga.
Sure.
Claydol.
Mhm.
6.
Seems good.
Galactic Switch.
Yep. Yeah, because you've got still got plenty of turns left at the moment.
Turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe could have done something else with it, but it still seemed reasonable.
Tray down.
Remove loss does do 80 pelt, yes. So we do still live.
Oh, wait, hang on. Oh, wait, shit, I forgot that part. I take back benching this, I just realised I did my math wrong.
I shouldn't let you, but I will. I'll be a nice guy. I really shouldn't let you though.
I know.
That's several actions beforehand, so I really shouldn't let you.
Actually, I thought last thing I did was turn. Yeah, it was like turn and bench that.
And bench it, I guess. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, it still should be
This gets
accepted. It still should be accepted state, but I'll be nice.
Now remove lost KOs.
Right, flip. Doesn't matter that it's dying, you flip for the attack.
Oh yeah, because lost don't actually matters,
Uh-huh. Yep.
isn't it? One.
Okay, which one do you want? I don't think it matters, but which one
Take
do you
the
want?
metal energy.
Take a metal energy? Okay. Yeah, it's doing the thing. It's not actually going to let me do it, so whatever. We'll just have to do it until that thing is in. Alright. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the button stuff that way today, but the pulling the energy out isn't doing stuff here. Alright, I was a nice guy because honestly I still take it anyway even when you do that. Time-space distortion. Well, okay, I didn't necessarily need all three, but that'll do. Because we're gonna get the Gigasax back, obviously. So I suppose thanks for refreshing my my Giga Hammer. Do that. I mean, I need to take a third one. It's just like, what do I actually even do? Because it's not. It's weird how like kind of irrelevant it ends up feeling. I suppose. I mean, no, because I don't. No, I should take the Gigas really.
Playing through these games makes me understand why Black-White happened.
Alright.
Good, but I think you have to play a lot to play them at any reasonable speed, and I mean a lot.
Yeah. So there is the gain already, so that's... I will... do I do it? I kind of want to. I'm tempted to attempt the sacrifice here anyway, because it might actually... Yeah, I'll attempt the sacrifice here.
You can go for it.
Alright. That guy goes down, prize gets taken. Yeah, because I've got two fighting on this thing already. Right. It's insurance against it, right? So, okay. Azelf bench down. I will go for Giratina, let loose. Yep, alright. We're taking 4. I'm assuming you'll do the same, but
Yes.
so we will get the 4. And we will Giga Blaster here. So top card goes. 90's enough to get the KO. I don't know if you want to shuffle up or do you just want me to pull it.
Just room, so pull it.
Okay. Prize is taken. And now Dialga's not in play, so down the material is back on.
Okay, that's what. Attempt to Claydol. Oh, yeah, just Claydol. Yeah,
Yep.
attempt.
Yeah, this is where I'd have loved to have had Mesprit as well, but I think putting Azelf down to make sure that you have to get another attachment here was more important. Because that's usually the combo here, is I would have put down like the Mesprit, then the Giratina, so you can't ability, and you get shuffled down, and then I take a card out, so you're down at like 4 cards at the start of the turn with no abilities. But given the fact that you have, you know, Big Angry Frog on the bench, that's like one of the few things that really hurts this. Turns out putting a special condition on this guy is really annoying. So, you know.
Aaron's collection.
Yep.
Select the hand.
Yep.
This. We gotta do. I do have the attach.
Yep.
So I'll do the 120 poison.
Yep. And yeah, if you yeah, you're right there. So get the marker out. All right, we will draw. Felicity. Let's discard 1 and 2. Draw 4. Okay. Well, I guess I put you on better habit. Poke Healer. Heal 1 plus the special condition. Attempt to sacrifice.
Right.
You do have the spray, okay. I don't... yeah, no, that does actually kind of matter. Okay. Yeah, that does matter a little bit. I mean, there's no way you can bring it out next turn, though, which is good. I have 6 energy on this guy, that's a lot of energy. Oh boy. So what do we do about that? Yeah, because KOing it's not really going to happen when I can only do 80. Drag off is kind of annoying, but it's not necessarily game winning here. But I gotta be honest, what the hell are you even doing next turn? Like, not a lot. Sure. 1. Yeah, we can afford to do this, I think. 1, 2. See, sometimes it's working and sometimes it's not. I'm not quite sure what's up with that.
I'm not sure what's going on there. I'll see if I'll have to check TTS form in case something happened. A patch happened. With a bug in it.
Right. Just trying to think through. Yeah, I think we can pay the retreat. I can go here. We will attach, and I will bounce back with Psychic Restore, doing 40 from the weakness. And we'll put out Girly-Tina. Because he's a fat bastard that's not exactly going to die anytime soon.
Galactic Switch.
Yep.
Attaches P energy. Attempt to leap away.
Yep. It's pretty annoying, to be honest. Okay.
What?
That's actually really frustrating. Whatever.
Let me just check. Is it still there? No, I pulled it out. I can't spend it here. Don't need definitely. I know I have a attack.
You did attach.
Yeah, I'm just going through my turn. Ladle.
Yep.
Devon.
Sure. We will draw. Just, I guess the only question is how long do I need to wait? Honestly, it's not that bad. The alternative is I just do it, which is probably reasonable. Well, Bebe's here. See what we're actually working with still. Yeah. Okay. Alright, yeah, I don't think I need to take anything off of that. Alright, oh, one thing to rule them all, huh? It's just how to go about it. We'll go for the sacrifice here. I'm pretty sure you can't stop it because you've gone through all of the sprays.
You can sacrifice?
You can sacrifice active. So that, and I guess that go there. Oh, that didn't even attach to the right thing. Go figure. Pretty sure I'm not. I wouldn't be allowed to do that anyway, but it's very funny that it tried. Because the annoying thing is, like, the going drag off on this asshole doesn't necessarily do anything because it just pisses off away anyway. The retreat on this thing is relatively big, but again, that's you've still got a couple of Poké 10s, I'm pretty sure. So 1, 2, yeah, because you've sorted recently, so still a couple of those left. Which isn't great. It's like it's really, really close is the annoying thing. It's like it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other of it, because I'm pretty sure you would have to have a Poké 10 in that hand at this point. There's no way you can't. And it just... I'm like so close, but at the same time just can't quite do it. I feel like, as much as I hate doing it, I feel like Giga Blast is just gonna play into it so much, but I don't know if I can win if I don't. Because like buying turns isn't even a thing otherwise. Let's. Yeah, I think I've got to try and buy some turns here. Let's drag off the Bronzong. If you're gonna poke a turn, I guess it's got to happen anyway. But I don't know. It feels bad no matter what I do here, but I think I've got to at least try and do something with it. And because obviously the gain was still kept in hand, so yeah, I don't know if that was right, but I couldn't see a better move from what was available to me.
We'll have to turn.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's game, but
Looks Ray. Ladle.
sure. Yep.
So I think Roseanne's.
Okay.
Put this on here to use my second strike. Pretty sure this is second strike for 70.
Sure. Alright, we'll draw. Well, there is exactly one way that I can see of doing this right now. Okay. I don't even think that necessarily does it though. There is exactly one thing. Wait, no, that does do it. Crobat turn, Crobat active.
Okay. That's annoying.
Time space. I don't actually think that part matters, but I want to do it anyway. Yeah, because I think I'm out of bench space to actually do exactly what I want off of it here, because I want to mess for it and also, like, you know, do one other thing with it here, but I don't think I can. Because, yeah, I'm out of space. So what I'm going to have to do instead is Yuxi. I'm just thinking, do I even want to draw? Yeah, I want to draw. I've got enough cards. This game's over one way or another anyway, so yeah, we will do the draw anyway. Yeah, I still had it in deck. I couldn't not go for it before, though. I am going to poke a healer just because I can, not necessarily because it makes the map any different, but maybe it does. I don't fucking know. And we will Giga Blaster here, and pump one. Oh, that's the whole hand. That's not what we want to do. Yeah, if you want to shuffle, pump one. Top card. Take our prize. Azelf is back online.
Oh, right. Well, this was free.
Yep. I'm sorry, that took me a while to work out the line there, but I think I got it in the end. Thank you, pal. It took me a bit to work that out, but I think I got it. Yeah, I agree with your evaluation here, pal.
Well, there we go.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All on looks right.
Yep.
Check my deck so I don't deck myself.
There's not a lot left in there. Yep, who's coming in? I mean, I guess it probably doesn't matter, but as long as it's not Yuxi, right?
Oh, it's not Oops, you're a free retreater.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Okay.
On the off chance a multi comes in and does fancy things with that.
You know, that is fair. Because this prevents you from attaching most of the energy I think you've got left, so that's kind of funny. Actually, no, I haven't even checked. I guess you've probably used most of them. I haven't seen that many. No, all the special medals are gone. Okay. It's like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, maybe a call energy's left or something.
Down material. I'm just gonna have to hope you don't have it.
Spoilers, I've been saving this for fucking 8 turns. Warp point. I've literally saved this for like 8 turns. Holy fuck. Oh my god. I had the option of going for Warp Point instead of the healer sacrifice play. I went for healer sacrifice instead because I was like, you've got to have it, otherwise I just run away with the game if I get that sacrifice off, you know?
Yeah, you hit the Psych Energy, which meant I had to go all in on Luxray regardless, but...
Yeah.
I think I did what I could there, because I had to make you have double bat to get the KO there. Nothing else, because there's nothing else could really stand forward.
Yeah, and I had that before, but because you didn't deafen that time, I was like, okay, I can probably do something with it there, actually make it work. And it's like, oh god.
I'm starting to understand a lot more about this era of history now.
So
why this is amazing, and why Black and White completely demolished it.
So this was what I thought was going to be the unfavorable matchup in comparison, because I figured if you could get that Zam online with the Unknown, there's like almost nothing I can do at that point, because I just don't get the knockouts, and you just punch through. I added Healer because I thought it would help the prize trade, and my god, did it help the prize trade there.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have stacked this, but I was in a bad spot at that point. I ran out of mons I could stack. It was that Claydol, and
it was Zam, Claydol, or Dialga on the bench, I believe.
I couldn't afford level X go down at that point with down material active.
Yep. So I think I stuck you pretty good on that one.
Out of fodder. So I was holding this in hand most by that point, but I didn't want to let this one. I didn't want to let this one sit around where it could get stuck in the active for leapaway tails or just get played around.
Yeah, the thing is, I was looking at dragging off on it, and I was like, no, because if you just flip heads on that, then you effectively poker turn it without me being able to do anything about it, and I no longer had space to put the Mesprit down. So I was just like, I had to do what I did with it there. Yeah, this thing is scary because it turns off sacrifice as well. That's the other reason I put Poke Healer in the deck as well, because it's like that gives me an opportunity, even if I only have one in hand, to play for the sacrifice. So yeah, I think I did most of what I could there. I'm not sure on the drag off turn. Like my quandary was like, do I just hit this thing for 100 or something? Because I had the potential, if you didn't turn, I was gonna ping kill it next turn and take like the 2-price, so try and go for a 2-price swing that way. But then I thought about it going, no, because if you just poker turn this, yeah, that gets the energy off the board, but that's stuff you can just put straight back down. And I kind of get screwed because I don't think I had Yuxi on board at that point, so I didn't have downer material even active. And I just looked at it going, well, if I do that, how am I like, I wanted to bait the Bronzong thing, right? And see if I could catch that at some point and just like, you know, deal with it there. But
I was very aware that as much as Bronzong was so useful in that late game, I didn't want it into drag off range or even back drag off range.
Yep. Yeah, so my goal really there, I was going for the drag off, trying to either like buy a turn off of it and then maybe drag off something else next turn with it, so I could go for like that 2-price swing. I wanted just to try and have as many ways as I could to, you know, with limited resources left, I wanted as many ways as I could to not get dicked over by this guy. And yeah, one of the ways of doing that involved taking out the Dialga, and I guess from there it was really fucking close, but I held that war point for literally like 8 turns just to go, this has got to come in handy at some point during the end play here. Even just like war point to stabilize so I could do 2 Giga Blasters in the
this
consecutive.
Game discarded also affected a lot, because by my end game, my energy situation was dire.
That fucking sucked, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, I could have used it myself for the metal energies.
That's why I didn't play it down when I first saw it. I saw it early in the game, but I didn't want to do it before I used it because I knew you could use it too.
Yeah, but that sucked. I'm not gonna mince words on that one.
You also hit my night maintenance that game.
Yes, I did. I've played this deck against bees a few times and hit night maintenance like every single Giga Blaster, so you know. And
you took my last Psychic Energy in my deck, so I couldn't use Toxic Rope by the end of it, so it was all in looks great.
Yeah, luckily down the material didn't care which one of them you ended up trying to go in for, so I was okay there. But yeah. Okay, Sai, do you want to go or?
I'm actually sort of falling asleep. I had a really bad night.
I figured, yeah, it's
not quality of your game or anything. My cat decided that she wanted to try and get into the spare room all last night.
I see.
A room she's never been allowed in before and has never been in. And this little asshole right here kept scratching the door all night.
Oh dear.
And is trying to fall asleep right now and being a jerk.
No, that's fair enough. Besides, this will probably take like eons to do anyway, given the way this is. Actually, I'm not so sure, because like this was the unfavorable matchup in my opinion, because A, Dialga just survives Giga Blaster anyway. It's like hard to ping that through, and B, if this thing ever gets established, then I can't really kill stuff anymore, and it's just like fuck, you know. Also, you play 2 Unknown G, which is not like uncommon per se, but definitely hurts.
I took that from the DPL list I was copying from, which I think I needed to because I was scared of Gengar hitting this thing.
Yeah, Gengar
So
on that would be disastrous.
I'm probably overvaluing this a bit, but the G's are probably still okay.
Like the G is definitely great. That stopped me from using Dragoff on a couple of key targets there, like Claydol. So you had that, you had that like all game. I could have gone for it early, but I think I was correct in actually like killing the big thing in the way at the time. I was like, I have quote unquote lethal on the main dude here. Let's just take him out now. So yeah, you're gonna get to draw for most of the game, and that kind of sucks. But I also take away like all of your energy basically. So I think it was fine. I think there was an energy gain that went from that as well. So
I'm not sure if I was actually incorrect going that hard in prep, because I really did realize this matchup its F power spray helps so much.
Yeah.
So I thought getting them early would be strong. Like the looker was unfortunate, but I'm not sure if that was me over preparing, or if it was correct for me to make you have it.
Possibly. So if this deck was played in the future, because it was a future deck from the end of next format that was adapted down, because there's still plenty of cool things you can do with it now, right? You don't have to have like junk arms and red ice and stuff with it.
I was probably gonna play this in Arceus, to be honest. Something like this.
Yeah.
When they got expert belt.
Yeah, Expert Belt was the other one. That's partly where the bat stuff came in instead. But I figured the Expert Belt makes everybody bigger, so you still, like, the numbers don't change on your end from it. Because the 110 guys go to 130, so they still don't get killed by it. So I think
it disproportionately helps tanks like this, especially thanks to Sacrifice, but...
Yeah, yes and no. Sacrifice doesn't necessarily do all the work at that point. The deck that I took from was playing Seeker as the thing, right? So you get this guy back to the bench and Seeker it up, and from there, like, just get it back into hand, right? And that effectively does the tanking bit for you there. They don't need to play stuff like Healer. But if it wasn't Looker, if I played this later on, this would have been Judge instead. So it would have still done the same general idea, possibly even better in a way, but yeah, just like the whole shuffle draw bit. There was a couple of VS Seeker in the deck as well, actually, at that point, because you can junk arm for VS Seeker to get whatever supporter you want, so that's kind of helpful as well. But yeah, I ended up going harder into the Sableye. I took out stuff like the Red Ice because I ultimately didn't see the point of using it here in the long run. I know why in latest things that you do it, but because of Felicity being playable here, I was just like, nah, I'm just going to do that. The Jirachi was one of, instead of the 4th Sableye, like, that card is really cool, but I think it's just a worse starter, so I was just like, I'm just putting the 4th Sableye in here. It just sets up the deck so much faster. And yeah, I put the Poke Healers in, because like I said, I was a little bit concerned at the whole this power can't be used if you're affected by a special condition trait on this thing. So also if
this power can't be used if Krogan just bopped you.
Exactly.
Rather.
Also, if you play 2 of these at the same time, it is functionally a sacrifice that you don't give up a prize for, was the way that I looked at it. So I was like, yeah, this ends up being really, really good.
I think I remember playing in something. I'm not sure if it was Reggie's, but I remember playing it at some point.
I think, yeah, because you played Reggie in Stormfront. I think you tried that there. I think that was it. I initially had Drawer in the deck for the first draft of it, because it was replacing stuff like Twins and Junk Arm from later on. So it's like Twins is search 2 when you're behind on prizes, like any 2 from deck. So obviously that works really well with a guy like this who's sacrificing prize cards all the time. You're going to end up being in that spot that you can do that. But we don't have that yet, so I initially tried Drawer, and then every time in testing, I played about 3 games of it before switching stuff around, and every single time I did get double Drawers, and there was nothing worth searching, because it was late enough in that it was just like, I already have everything I can play, I've got a full bench, there was just nothing to do. So I initially then took them out to add more stuff like Warpoint. I had Box Training in here at one point as well, because I was going a bit more into the extra damage, because I thought 110 is just that big of a threshold. Also, Infernape and a lot of other SPs of that era, that elk even, have got 90, so Giga Blaster with Giga Blaster gets it anyway, but Giga Hammer gets it if you ping as well, so you can alternate between like the 90 and 110 sort of damage bits. And that was great, so I had the turns and stuff. I put an extra Warp Point in because Warp Point refreshing Giga Blaster is really strong, who would have figured?
That plays well with the bats you added.
Yes, and then there were a couple of Cyclone Energy as well. I did have 14 in the initial build of this, and that was good. Like, Cyclone Energy was nice as well. But I noticed, as you saw in this game, it's like, I didn't really need that many energy cards. Yeah, you want them discarded early so you can do the whole sacrifice accelerate thing, but you can't do that with Cyclone anyway, because this guy says basic only. So
they learned after Electro DX.
Yeah, and like the Cyclone Energy was really good. It would have been extremely powerful in a lot of points in that game as well, forcing you into I'm gonna one-shot whatever comes in territory, right? It would have still been really good. But at the same time, I figured it would be better to go for the extra ping shots, and yeah, that's where we went. I did briefly test Rescue instead of Distortion. I think they're about equivalent in this deck, to be honest. I did flip 3 tails once in the thing, which sucked, but I had 2 in the hand, so it was fine. I still think it's better to go with Distortion, because if this Reggie level X does hit the discard, then you can, if you flip 2 heads instead, you know, you're getting the 2 hits instead, right? You get the level X and you get something to put down for their effect. And yeah, we added Yaz Elf because I looked at it going, well, we've got the other 2, and this guy is really good against SP decks, so, you know.
Yeah, I agree with that play. I hate it, but I agree with it.
Yep. So yeah, that was the other bit of go, well, we have these, we can get them back dead easy, so let's just go ahead and add the downer material as well. And Giratina is amazing in this deck. Like, it normally sucks for having that high a retreat cost, right, to get benched out on.
You need a way of getting rid of it from the active, or you need Moonlight.
Yeah. And yeah, I put it up because I knew I was almost definitely sacrificing next turn anyway, because I needed the heal, right? So I put it up going, yeah, what now, you know? There's no way you're knocking this 100 HP dude out, and that was that.
I was holding my own Warp Point, but I just couldn't get a kill at that point.
Yeah.
I didn't have enough damage on me.
Yep. So yeah, I was pretty happy with the way this ended up building. I think there's lots of different iterations you could do with this deck, but I think it worked out really well. It's just, it is a little bit unfavorable. Oh, excuse me. It is a little bit unfavorable into like this, because you do have the special medal that makes it really hard to take these things out. I had to work pretty hard to even get that 100 HP. If you had a couple of special medals on the level X or something, that starts getting really hard to take out. And then Alakazam was just a big problem, actually. I played one game after you showed it. I was like, this seems kind of cool. I want to try it out. I played one game and managed to get the Alakazam established. It was like, it was going well for a fair while until this guy came out, and then everything fell apart. I think I was like 3 prizes up with the Reggie deck, and then this guy came out and everything was a disaster. So, you know, I was like, this is probably not a good matchup, but I'm going to play this deck anyway, because it's either that or I play Flygon that just demolishes this. Like, it's no contest.
Flygon's a next week deck, I think.
Yeah. Potentially.
I didn't want to build more decks this week, but I didn't have, I've been busy and burn out, and you know.
Yeah, I was convinced you were just going to take that Beedrill thing in, I'll be honest, because yeah.
I want to try things up midweek as well, so
that's fair. Yeah, I was struggling to come up with anything super good this round. Like, I have a couple of things I tried with the Leafeon, but it just wasn't that solid in the end. with Blissey, it was reasonable. With Nidoqueen, it was too slow. We tried that out on stream yesterday and just got demolished by the Luxray Infernape stuff. And it wasn't because of weakness, because Umbreon takes care of that. It was just out. It was out aggressed, like, immediately. The Gallade thing, as you saw, was a little bit too greedy, the Gallade Infernape thing. I do think Gallade is a really strong card, even through Power Sprays and stuff here. I think it's an amazing card, but I think I need to maybe go back to the drawing board a bit. Possibly just go Gallade Raichu and focus a bit less on trying to do, like, expensive Infernape things. And other than that, yeah, it was this at, like, 1 a.m. last night. That's when we ended up like making the first draft of it, because they were like, Pell was like, have you tried Reggie's yet with this stuff? And I was like, no, I know you tried it once. I was looking for your deck and I deleted it, so whoops. That was like 2 sets ago, so I don't blame you for that. Yeah, it was like 3 weeks ago or something that you'd made it, so I'd ended up removing it when doing other stuff here. I was like, no, I haven't yet. I was potentially looking later, but if you've got a list, it would be reasonable to look at.
I think I had 2 versions. I forget which one I brought up. It's only numbered them.
Yeah. So yeah, we took a look at it and going, yeah, this is adaptable. Like, all the Pokemon were out. It was just like most of the trainers needed to be changed, but there was plenty of good stuff to look at there for it. So it's just like, sure, let's try and make it, and I'll test it today.
A different version as well. Now, let me check my files.
Yeah, see, the Super Scoop was something I was considering this afternoon, but I decided instead that the Poké-turn was going to be better, because I figured, I know it's nice to be able to scoop them.
Saved, so...
Ah, well. It's nice to scoop a Mesprit, if you could, but you've got to flip heads.
One. It was
Aha!
a mistake. It was stupid. It got the stupid large zoom-in glitch.
Oh, yeah. And because it spawned face down instead this time, you didn't actually eat my
was a
card,
misclick.
so...
I got a lag spike.
I know. It's just, it spawned face down, so... Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, this one might have been it then, yeah, the Mewtwo version.
Yeah. I didn't want to play Mewtwo in this in the end because I just thought it's going to clog things up too much. Which I think is reasonable. It's not a bad card or anything, obviously, but it does take 2 Psychic as well, so it starts making things a bit clunky,
yeah, and a bit awkward.
And we have new disruption tools and stuff like Giratina, which is better. Yeah, there was a lot of talk of going between 2-2 and 3-1 of this thing. I think 3-1 ends up being better because you get the basic Reggie more often, and since you're playing as Elf anyway, you can get it off the prizes. That's fine. Yeah, massive amount of Premier Ball is probably superfluous at this stage. I can see why, again, you've got the Mewtwo in here, so it makes more sense in this sort of build. But,
also, low base count as well, so...
Yeah. Yeah, the original list played, that I was looking at, played 2, but again, it had stuff like VS Seeker, it had, Twins and whatnot, and it had one of the Jirachi for Final Wish to be able to search as well, so you didn't necessarily need that many Bebes in that deck, but we don't have all the tools for that yet, so... Yeah. Main takeaway for me, I'm so glad I put these healers in, because that made all the difference in that game, like, holy shit. First one stopped the initial counter-attack plan with the Tox, and then the second one, well, it baited out the Power Spray, which was maybe not quite as amazing, but it still baited out the last one, so it worked.
You've got to be aware of Power Spray in the matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, there wasn't much I could do about it, I'll be honest with you. As you see, there's only 2 Looker in here, and even if you had a pretty thin deck at that point, so even if I did Looker, it would have potentially just gotten into Spray again anyway. Wouldn't have been the first time that game. And,
you know what would have been funny? If you kept the second Lookers for when I had that tiny deck.
Yeah, I was considering it, but I just didn't really have that much of a chance on it. I had triple TSD in that hand as well. I was just looking at it going, I wouldn't necessarily mind if I have to shuffle my own thing back in here. I'm sure I could get better stuff out of it, but I was just looking at it going, could go either way at this point, you know. Tough matchup for sure, but I think we both had a pretty good showing of what the decks do at that point. I guess you didn't get to Alakazam on me, but you did in the game before, and we did see most of that one, so that is the main thing for it. Alright, are we doing hits off of this one?
Like,
You usually do.
I kind of want to, like, I am a bit sad if the Reggie goes at this point, because again,
I
I want to try again later, but
I
there's
know.
so many decks this format, I can live with it. Like, I could be in this format for like a month, I think, just this set alone.
Yeah. This one of the
game is so long, I can bring a different deck every week.
One of the greatest sets of all time, I think, is the bit with it. We could leave it, to be honest, if you want. you could ban down the material. True. No, like, we can leave it if you want, because it's mostly on Matt's end, to be honest, on the stuff there. Like, if we're being totally honest with it, it's mostly on his end for when stuff comes in. And I mean, I reckon we're probably going to be bringing different stuff ourselves next time round.
Yeah. Like, yeah, if I did have to ban it, it would be like Infernate Reggie. It'd be Infernate Reggie-Zam, but
yeah, I could see that. But
I don't see it being too relevant, no.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like I was saying, it's only us three with it, and we know. Well, potentially this can come back, but it can come back with significant differences at that point, right? Like, I guess the core idea is still going to be the same with the Mesprit, locking and whatnot, but the way that it plays around it is going to be insanely different. Because, you know, stuff like, of course, John Khan being able to do a bunch of cool stuff with VS Seeker to be able to get whatever you need there. Seeker itself is a really, really game-changing card for this deck. When that does come out at the end of next thingy. Expert Belt you've mentioned is another one that changes a lot. But Seeker being if I had Seeker and like so many points in that game, right? Just pick up one of the guys I've used the effect of and then put it back down again to lock for more than just like one turn in the whole game, right? It's that changes so many things. And yeah, Twins with Sacrifice is pretty strong. I could see it being different enough, and the format is way different by that point as well. It's got new threats to contend with too, like Dawnfan Prime is out at that stage as well. That's pretty tough.
Like, talk about future sets. The reason I said on this set is because next set a certain Garchomp lands and makes this thing redundant.
Yeah, it kind of does make it a bit irrelevant, doesn't it? That's
it's nice though it could do work in it when it didn't have the competition.
Yeah.
I saw it and realized this can't be a bad card. It's damage swap.
Yeah, it's a good effect. It really is.
In a tag which also has Poker Turn.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's a really good effect, and that's it's definitely worth the look. But yeah, I couldn't work out how to like make the stuff with this week. I'll be honest. Like you were saying, maybe weren't like all super happy about every ratio in here, but I was like, I could even start making a decent deck out of this, to be honest. It was just debt block, I guess, creator's block for it this week or something, I don't know, but
like this replaced the basic energy, so well, I think it's an energy because my basic versus special metal count was also in flux.
Yeah,
and make sure I had enough of everything. Things getting prizes awful. Like I prized both of these psychics that game, just so you know. That's why I played a bit awkward early game with my toxic rogue, because I literally could not find a psychic energy.
Thankfully, you don't necessarily have to worry quite as much when you've Azelfed early, and you know you're against Reggie.
Azelf prepared my prizes all game.
Yeah, and it's like you're against Reggie, and that's gonna give you prizes as it goes. But it worked. Just by God, that game was close though. Right, yeah.
It felt much less clunky in practice than it did when I was testing. I think it's just because I had stuff like Power Spray and just interaction in general.
Yeah, it can be tough, right, when you're testing things like Spray by yourself, because it's like, you have more knowledge than you should have on it, so you may, even if it's not conscious, you may end up biasing the decision a bit of going, well, I know that if I spray this Yuxi now, or this Claydol, or this whatever, then it's gonna, like, end the turn there and then, right? That's not knowledge you're supposed to have. It's like, I hope this ends the turn, but I can't be totally sure, you know? God, Looker is so good against the Cyrus chain though, and noticing that as well, of going, I patiently waited like 3 turns on that first Looker, because I had it in the opening hand, and I was like, what if I just wait until you've played like most of the stuff down here, and just accumulated all the bits that you want to keep, and then do it while you've still got a big deck afterwards? Right? It's like, now you're 3 Cyrus down from the opening part of the game, and I've got my board set up, so... Seemed good.
They read it over playing to that.
I mean, you can't know I'm playing it though. That's the thing. It's like, yeah, you could maybe guess, but it's like you wouldn't know that I'm playing it necessarily.
Yeah, I felt like if I really thought, like, if I really sweated out the matchup, I probably should have assumed that there was a hand control in a deck that hates power spray.
Yeah, it's a strange one that way, isn't it? Because it's like, yeah, it hates it in. There were some key aspects to it that were really annoying there, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily need it all the time, right? It's only in like key points. That's where the Poke Healer ended up coming in. It's like, well, if you've got spray, then I guess I could just heal her instead and do it that way. So yeah, it does hate it for sure, but it's not always the deal breaker that you would hope it would be in a deck like this. Because it's often like, oh, you took out, say, my... Like, you can bait it as well, right? It's like, oh, you took out a Mesprit, so you can do your own powers next turn. Alright, here's Giratina, right? Or, yeah, here's, like, the sacrifice now, and it's like, you've got to let something through, and it's just, yeah, there's a lot of problems with it that way. And then there is this asshole. Ah, dear. Go figure. Hey, just the right level of disruption to make it work, though. Nice to see something like this come back, though, because like so many of the cards from the beginning of the era just aren't that good now, right? Like, every time I've gone through the decks, it's not just the things we banned. It's like, even if we hadn't banned them, we probably wouldn't play most of them anyway, because they're just not good enough anymore, you know?
One of my complaints about this era is that the power creep, even within era, seems really strong.
It's weird, yeah.
Normal to have some creep, but I think Platinum just has so, like, these two, like this and Platinum are just loaded.
Yeah.
And they really what you can play. Like, even back in LA, Kingdra's a thing.
Yeah,
Kingdra
was rough. I think again it was a bit of a byproduct sort of thing, though. I'm pretty sure we could have handled it with some of the cards that we just weren't allowed to use now, but. Yeah, I can see it. I mean, obviously SP as an archetype, as a mechanic, is very powerful. Go figure, big basics are strong, even when they are less aggressively costed in a lot of ways. You do still have to have quite a few like pieces to make this work, but...
If you look at Crobat, though, 80 HP, free retreat, and one of the best powers you can of its type for the era. Like,
yeah,
Cyrus is a hell of a supporter.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Remember when we were playing Jolteon Star for this kind of effect?
No, because nobody played Jolteon Star in the end.
Okay,
yes, no, I understand. I understand. Like, we could have played it, yes, but I did not see a single Jolteon Star in like any game, and that was very sad. Except my own. I'm pretty sure I played it in the Gyarados thing.
But yeah, but you get my point though. That was a good card. This is just so much better in every way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can understand. It's not even feature creep on at this point. I mean, like stuff like Power Spray, you could almost say is almost like, you know, that kind of part with it because it's on a completely different axis from the normal stuff, but. Yeah, no, they really wanted to push this, and I guess it's because we haven't had any sort of truly decent basic deck for quite a while. Like, I've made a couple of ones that were more gimmick than anything, right? Heatran Moltres being a thing. That was cool, but
Last the basic deck was Lunasol. If you want to use pure basics, like there was plenty decks like there was decks in the previous era, like the DP era, which were big basic centered, but not pure big basic.
yeah, like Ho-Oh was the main thing, wasn't it? Because that relied on the Togekiss to do its thing. But even then, it's like that was a good deck, but it wasn't like, you know, the best deck ever type thing. Probably for the exact format we had, but I don't know. It's like you look at the stuff from the last like 2 or 3 sets, and you compare that to the first 2 or 3, and it's like most of the cards from the first couple of sets in terms of the Pokemon just don't really compete anymore, I guess. But I mean, in a way, that's kind of fine, because that's like I think one thing we've got to keep in mind is that these are like quarterly sets, right? So if we are still playing the same deck from effectively Diamond Pearl base at this point, that's been like 2 full years that it's been out. Maybe that's like sort of the break point with it. Yeah. It's just like, I'm sure you could still play Empoleon and whatnot, and Torterra is still something that could be
That is one thing I've been curious about, is seeing what BTS does to those earlier decks, because while there has been power creep, BTS is universal. It's a splashable card.
Yeah.
And it certainly helps those old evolution decks.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the pace of the game it's almost like a different axis. It's almost like you say it's
BTS turn 1, Primplop. Let's go.
Yeah, that'd be alright, wouldn't it? Yeah, I think the main issue for a lot of the cards before is not necessarily that the damage is bad, it's that the energy cost is a lot worse.
Yeah, the energy. How do you afford that energy cost in this era when you're under this much pressure?
Yeah. And that does become a bit of a challenge, to say the least. But I don't know. I mean, clearly this still did something, and this is like slow as molasses, so, you know. But this also...
it is Regigigas.
Exactly. It has a slow start. But also, I guess it's not necessarily a like high evolution deck, so that does help it a fair bit as well. The fact that this is effectively a stage 1 at best, that does significantly help, because it's like, compare that to something like Empoleon or... I don't know, Torterra, I guess, is an easy one to pick on.
Does have built-in acceleration, which does help.
Yeah, even if it is very dangerous to use, yes, it does help. Yeah, I don't know. I understand, like, the point. I guess Gardevoir is the big outlier from that, though, right? Because Guardy apparently was still really good even at this stage.
I did consider building Dark Guy, you see what it did, but I couldn't be bothered playing. I couldn't be bothered. There's so much other stuff.
That's it.
I can't bother asking about it.
That's it, isn't it? Really, there is so many other things to look at that.
If I go back to it, it'll probably be on the next Worlds format when everything's legal with DCE, but depending on my mood.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could still play the deck with upper energy here as well. It's likely to go
sure
behind
the deck is playable right now.
Yeah. It's just, is it actually good? Who the hell even knows?
Especially as what do you... It's not as... Telepath isn't great when you're copying a Cyrus deck. A Cyrus in a no-SP deck.
Yeah, yes and no. I nearly considered Cyrus in here in the end, actually. Like, I couldn't really find space.
Of course.
Well, I mean, I might. I'm not actually sure.
Oh, I thought you already had it, sorry.
No, I don't have it at the moment. I didn't build anything with the band stuff this time around. No, the only other deck I had set up was that Flygon thing this week. Was the main other one I was looking at. Like I said, Temptation was so there, because I think it really would have just like dumpstered both of the decks you guys are playing, but that just felt wrong. You know, like the hell do you even do against us with what you bought there?
I tried, but
yeah,
there's so much checking you can do.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the breakpoint isn't even like, oh, Sandtomb is really annoying with this stuff. No, it's Extreme Attack is the problem here, because you can't defend against that. It just one-shots your two big guys here, and even if you have all of your special medals on, I still one-shot Dialga, and it's like, what do you do? It just...
Guess I'll die.
Yeah.
I'd probably have to take a... Is there even a good colorless SP?
Not that deals with Flygon. Not at the moment. Because the Ambipom is the closest thing, but that doesn't deal with Flygon, because Flygon still has energy on it.
Yeah.
Speaking of that asshole, did you know there's a set in the Battle Tower that outspeeds max speed Garchomp by 1 point?
How?
For Ambipom? Yeah.
For Ambipom, right, okay, yeah.
So, it's built so that it survives any non-boosted attack from the Garchomp. And will always KO on Fake Out into Dual Chop.
Get wrecked.
Which is very funny.
Yeah.
Which is also why I'm making a Lucario.
Yeah. You know, I guess it would have been, like, interesting if I did bring this. The games would have been a hell of a lot faster, at the very least. It would have been much less engaging, I think, in the end. Because it's like, did you get it? Yeah? Alright, I guess I'm dead then. You know?
I think it's the format where you just accept that the games go long and just turn around it.
And this is why I'm bringing Gengar next week.
Casually is fine. It's only when you're trying to do half-hour best of ones in tournament that hour-long games are a problem.
Yeah.
Hey, I heard you like Fainting Spell.
I mean, hey, if you want to bring Gengar, it's about damn time it shows up at some point, right? We've been skirting around it.
I was thinking
so
something that annoying, Worlds.
It's like we've been skirting around it for the longest time here. I have built it like basically every week so far, but just haven't wanted to bring it in the end because I've just been more interested in other stuff I've done. But yeah, I think if you wanted to play it, this is.
I think it's the appropriate week.
It's one of the many appropriate weeks coming up for it because Arceus, I think, gives it the curse one, and then of course there's.
Arceus is also the level X.
Yeah, and then there's that fucking plant that comes back in the Heart Gold Soul Silver era that also has its own thing for it. There are many appropriate times for Gengar to show up.
And then just... Who wants to play your bets? How long does the Vileplume last?
One set.
1 or 0?
How quickly is Matt gonna get it banned? Is the real question, isn't it?
I believe the answer to that is yes.
Ah, dear. Right, well, I know like more than half an hour of discussion stuff is always the way these things go. I think it's fun going over, especially when it's
several hours.
Yeah, especially when there's a set like this, though.
This is a set you could spend a whole month in and still be fine.
Mm-hmm. This set is basically my Gen 3 EV's experience in one thing. You could play it for like months and still not get good at it. You know? Oh dear. I'm sure well, probably won't at this point, but I'm sure I'll get regaled on how many misplays I made during the stuff in that game. But you know, it's all good. We had a fun time, and that's the main thing. Yeah, I think this has basically been the best TCG that we've really played so far. To be honest, in this era as a whole, it feels like it's been the best. So
I was worried at first, but that was only just Death Crystal being a bloody stinker and Absol, and
yeah.
Once those things got shook off, this era got a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Absol Giratina would still be a bit of an ass, but it's not enough to really build anything around at this point, I don't think. And Giratina itself is a liability, so.
And there's so much draw up to in format that you can play. Like it's not the deadliest thing in the world. One Pokemon search and a Nuxie pops out, and oh look, I'm back to 7.
Yep. Oh, speaking of Pokemon Search, fun fact, initially this deck was playing Great Ball as well as a couple of bits, because PCOM was one of the main bits that we had to replace. And we were looking at Great Ball, yeah, it can't get stuff like the Mespera or anything, but it's, oh, not really. But it was like, oh, I mean, you can just get the Gigas with it, or get like an early Sableye or something, or get the Unknown to retreat to the Sableye, it's still fine. But, yeah, we were looking at either Great or Dust Ball as the thing, and I ended up taking them out because I wanted the Poke Turns and stuff, but it would have been fine, would have worked, but I wanted that damage output because I realized just how big of an annoyance it was to only hit 100 when everything that you want to kill has got 110, and you can't really afford to give that many turns up on it, I don't think. So maybe I played too aggro on it, I don't know, but it worked, so that's what matters.
I sprayed so many Crobats today.
Yes, you did.
On the bright side, you didn't get sprayed by me.
Very true.
'Cause I'm respectful of your draw capacity, and not because it was at the bottom of the deck the entire game.
Oh dear, Underground Expedition when? Right, well, I think that's as good a place to end as any with the stuff here,
With this
so...
set. Underground Expedition is this set. You can play it right now.
It's not very good, but you can play it.
Not the worst card in the world, but that's just because the draw support in this era are pretty poopy in general.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue playing that when we have better supporters.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a few cards on the fringe, I think, with the stuff here that could definitely come in. I think no, I don't know if it would have changed anything, but like Bertha at a couple of points in that game would have been really annoying, right? Being able to just heal 50 off of one of the bits there could have changed math a fair bit, or even not having to do 50 per se.
What's
but
the
like,
cut? What's the cut in this
exactly.
list?
That's
There are no cuts in this list. If you get on Warp Point, you will struggle to get them up, or you will get Flygon to death.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could play Bertha's Warmth though, but it only works on SPs, not basic Pokemon. Damn it! Can you imagine this deck with Bertha's Warmth available as well? Just God. Oh, I'd love it. Right. That's going to do for now, though. If you have somehow sat through the, 40 minutes of discussion or something here of it, thank you. We do appreciate it. But, yeah, I think these games are obviously extremely long compared to the other stuff, but I think we also just kind of brought decks that implied that was going to happen here, right? We could have easily brought something like Machamp or Beedrill or whatever and been far more aggressive about it, but we wanted to play the slower game of it here. And it's great that you can do that in terms of this format. Like, it works with everything from the lightning fast, aka stuff like this down here, the super aggressive shit, to I'm gonna play a gigantic 150 HP thing and have fun, you know? It's great. There's so many different playstyles that you can go for, and they are successful, so not often you get to see that. Right, yeah, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.